Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Les Brown's Motivational Monday Night Call, your place for motivation and inspiration by world-renowned speaker, author, trainer, and coach, Mr. Les Brown, and his platinum speakers. It is Monday, April 4th, 2016, the first Monday of the second quarter of this awesome year, and we are grateful for your time and attention tonight. My name is Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. I have the privilege and the blessing of being your host for tonight's call. I would like to invite you to visit lesbrown.com. That's lesbrown.com for information on our upcoming programs and events, as well as following Mr. Brown on social media on Facebook, brown.les, that's brown.les, where you can get his motivational quotes and insights that he shared there, as well as staying connected with the videos that are posted on YouTube and other social media. Mr. Brown appreciates you. He appreciates your voice. He appreciates your compassion. He appreciates your willingness to be a part of a movement of change, inspiring thousands and millions of voices of hope. So we thank you for being here, for sharing this with your friends, your family. For those who are coming on for the first time, welcome to the Les Brown Motivational Monday Night Call. And we hope that you will consider joining us again and again. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I have a special treat for you. Last week, you heard me mention an individual, someone that we are so proud of in the Les Brown family, because he started out with getting the kind of coaching, the kind of tutelage, the kind of inspiration that so many of you are inspired by when you hear myself and the other platinum speakers who get to work with the legend, Mr. Les Brown. I told you he was featured on TV last week on the Steve Harvey Show. And some of you were inquiring how to get in contact with him, and I gave you his website. But he was so inundated by the reception that was received as a result of him sharing his story on that platform that he was unable to join us. But tonight, I get to introduce a speaker, an author, a trainer, a motivator. He is a life coach to high-profile athletes, politicians, and personalities around the world. He has a quote that I just absolutely love. I am more fearful of the shackles of poverty than I am of the freedom of taking risks. And he knows about taking risks. He has a mantra that he travels the world with, which say increase. And if you can say it where you are right now without anybody thinking you've lost your mind, say increase, because you're going to hear about that tonight. He's heard on almost every continent around the world. He rolls up his sleeves and he delivers straight talk to audiences all the way from Africa to Australia, to India, to Italy, to Sweden, to Spain. And they respond with such great enthusiasm because his blunt honesty motivates people to stop thinking and start doing. You heard me talk a little bit about his rags to riches story, and it touches a chord with people from all over the globe because he transformed his life from poverty and abandonment into wealth and opportunity. He had nothing but dreams, and his unique high-energy style that has created just an international movement of change on this planet. Now, I can say a whole lot more, and you can read about him on his website, but what I appreciate about him is his humble, authentic transparency. To be able to know him, to have met him when I started working with Les Brown, to hear about the work that he had started doing, and then to get to see the person behind the words, the person who has created a legacy for himself and his family. It is an absolute privilege and honor to introduce my friend, my brother, none other than the one, the only, Johnny Wimbrey. Johnny, my brother, are you alive?
I am here, Dr. Stacey Grant. Oh, my goodness. Let me say this just right out of the gate. I don't know if you got that on my website or if my people wrote that, but if they did, I need to give them a raise. I don't know where you got that, but I need a copy of whatever you wrote. I'm hiring you. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, my God, I hope we recorded that. Thank you.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And all I said was the truth, my brother. All I said was the truth. So,
well, you know me. I don't do fluff. That was incredible. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are welcome. I'm so excited. I'm so proud to know you. See, that's the way I live and the kind of environments that I like to be around, where it's about collaboration, not competition. And seeing you shine, Johnny, seeing you on the Steve Harvey show, I felt like your mama, your sister, your wife, and the kids jumping up and down, saying, that is on Steve Harvey, y'all.
Well, thank you so much. It's such an honor and a pleasure, and just mad props and kudos to, our father in the industry, Les Brown, the greatest, the absolute greatest. I don't know whether to call him a personality. I don't know. He's probably more of an entity now. I mean, he is the greatest entity on stage that I've ever seen in his particular realm. So I mean, obviously none of us would be here without him. And I feel like a little brother. When I came aboard, and I can't remember who came first, myself or you, but I was always, in my mind, I was the baby brother. I was a little brother. I was a young guy, and nobody was ever intimidated by me. Nobody tried to hold me back, and you guys just pushed me and motivated me and encouraged me. And I can tell you, some speakers they speak to impress. We were taught to speak to bring impact, and I think that's what made the difference. Les Brown and everything that he brings to the table, he doesn't create competitors. He creates individuals who can go bring impact that will be bigger and greater than their name will ever be. So I just want to thank every single body who is a part of the Les Brown Network. I hear from all over the world, and I am not exaggerating. I get messages from India and Africa and Australia. Les is talking about you on stage right now in Singapore and Malaysia, and I'm just getting messages from around the world, and a lot of you guys are doing the exact same thing, and it is so humbling to know that you guys are using me for an example of any definition of success when it comes to, impacting and empowering lives. So thank you so much, Dr. Stacia.
Absolutely, Diane. So here's what I want to do. The listeners that tune in every week, they tune in because they have found out about the call, or they've been following Les Brown for years. They've heard him, and when he makes his appearances on the call, they get so excited and encouraged about what's next for them. But some haven't taken the next step, and they're wondering, what would it be like to just work with Les Brown? What would it be like to have that opportunity to not just talk about what you want to do, but as you speak about, Johnny, taking action and start doing? What was it for you that was that pivotal moment when you decided that you wanted to have the opportunity to work with the legendary Les Brown?
Well, let me say this. The two most important days of your life, and you've probably heard Les say this, the day that you're born and the day you realize why you were born. And I want to ask you a question. This question was asked to me, and it rocked the very foundation of my soul. And I really want you to hear what I'm saying. And if this question doesn't move you, I promise you nothing will. And the question was, when was the last time you did something for the first time? When was the last time you did something for the first time? It's the first time initiatives that create a first time difference. Oh my God! Please, somebody text that and give my name. Sometimes I say stuff that gives me chills. Sometimes it's got to be the anointing, because if I would have planned that never would have came out the right way. Somebody, please send that to me. Your initiative, the first time, that's the very thing that creates a first time breakthrough. So let me rephrase the question that you ask. What will happen if you don't join the Les Brown Network? See, I'm more motivated by the fear of what I may miss. Most people are motivated by the guarantee that they may get. There is no guarantee. Les Brown can't guarantee you anything. I can't guarantee you anything. Dr. Stacia, none of us can guarantee you one thing, but I can guarantee you this: if you don't, how can you expect different if you don't do something different? Dr. Stacia, I don't really tell this story that often, but I'm going to share something with you. Very few people know this unless it has been recorded. I've never heard it recorded before. I met Les Brown in Dallas, Fort Worth, And I had the opportunity to go see him speak, and he allowed me to come visit with him for lunch one day. And this was about 14 years ago, maybe like 12 or 13 years ago. And I go up to the hotel, and I'm just honored. I'm just, that first time you're around Les, but before you realize he's a real person, like that very first time, if we all can just go back to that very first moment where we honored him so much, not saying we don't now, but we have to be honest with ourselves. He's so real. He's so, normal when you get around him that it's hard to remember that first time. And Dr. Stacy, I was with him the first time I went into his room. He invites everybody into his room. He has, a suite, and people are sitting around the table. He just lets anybody in, and I'm just sitting there. I'm the guy not talking at all. And he looks at me, and he said, "How bad do you want it?" I said, "I'll do whatever it takes." He said, "If you join my network, if you commit to my network, I'll put you on stage tonight." I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
Now, you got to understand, that conversation doesn't make sense to me. Why would you pass a mic to me that you built decades to build? Decades, and he's saying, "Here." And I got in my car, and he said, "If you come up with $5,000 tonight, that's half of what the platinum package was at that point." And this is, I want to say, the year 2000, 2001. And I'm sharing this with you because I really want you to understand. I got in my car broke, knowing that I would be on stage with him that night. And I'm going to try my best not to get emotional because I don't talk about this a lot. I got in my car, and I called my wife, and I said, "Babe, I may be able to be on stage with Les Brown tonight." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'll explain later. I got to raise $5,000. I called my stepmother. I've never asked anyone in my family for money before. I'm broke. My book just got released. I borrowed money to publish my book. And I get in my car, and I'm driving from North Dallas down to South Dallas. And I make one phone call, and it's my stepmother. And I said, "Joyce, I am so sorry. I have never asked you for anything." And I said, "I have an opportunity tonight that can change the destiny of my life, and I need to raise $5,000. And she didn't ask me what it was. She just said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm driving down Loop 12. I'm about 20 minutes away from your job." She said, "Come here now. I'll give you $2,500. And I hung up the phone, and I began to say, "Thank you, God." And before I could pick my phone up to call somebody else, my friend Tony, and this is one of my homeboys from the hood, we used to do dirt together, and, we got in trouble together, and, when we were in high school, and, he was an ex-drug dealer, I'm an ex-drug dealer. We both changed our life around. And at this point, he's going to the Potter's house with Bishop Jakes. He's changing his life, and he has a concrete company, and, he's not really doing incredibly well, but, he's moving money fast enough to have money in the bank. And he called me just out of nowhere, as a fluke. He called me, and he said, "Johnny, well, what's up?" I said, "Hey, Tony, listen, man, let me call you back. I got to raise $2,500. I'm going to be on stage possibly with Les Brown tonight. I'll call you back later." Now, this is my homeboy from the hood. I had no idea he would even know the name Les Brown. He said, "Man, Les was just at my church at the Potter's house. What do you mean you're going to be able to speak with him?" I said, "I'm going to join his network. I got to come up with $5,000. I got $2,500. Just let me call you back later." He said, "Johnny, where are you?" And I said, "I'm driving down Loop 12, and I'm passing the Potter's house as I'm talking to him." And he said, "Meet me in about 10 minutes at a certain destination." And he said, "I got $2,500 for you." I made one phone call, and the other phone call came to me. Dr. Stacy, I would not know you today if I didn't make that first phone call, if I didn't swallow my pride and do whatever it takes. And I'm doing my best not to get emotional, because the only reason that you're listening to my voice right now is because I knocked on a door. I made a phone call. I didn't wait for the window to open. I didn't wait for a door to open. I dove through the crack. And that night, Les Brown put me on stage for 5 minutes. I sold more product than Les Brown did that night. He spoke for 45 minutes. I spoke for 5. My life has never been the same. So I pose the question again, what happens if you don't do it? I know my answer. What's yours?
Mm. Woo! We have to get the fire extinguishers out, Johnny Wimbrey. Johnny, but ladies and gentlemen, I told you, Johnny's compassion, his authenticity, that story, and this is the first time, Johnny, that I'm hearing that full story. And I know it so well because the same thing. You don't share this, but this call is being recorded. But we don't.
I need it. And you know what's crazy, Dr. Stacia? Tony was in my house 3 days ago.
Wow.
And we were just talking. He's a very successful guy now. He owns his own, sporting consultation clinic for young kids. And we were just talking, and I said, Tony, do you remember when I called you? He interrupted me. He said, yeah, I remember. And I said, do you know I tell that story all over the world? And I know it's recorded somewhere, but I can't find it. And he said, this is just 3 days ago. He said, you tell that story? I said, Tony, you'll never owe me anything because of what you did for me that day.
Wow.
And that was about 72 hours ago.
Wow.
He came over to congratulate me for being on the Steve Harvey Show.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All I can say is wow. And, Johnny, I know it, and I'll tell you the story one day of making the same intention. What's going to happen if you don't do it? I had to raise my money as well to work with us. So it was the best investment that I could have made. But let's back up a little bit, Johnny, because we're talking about where you are now, multimillionaire, on Steve Harvey, investing in other people's businesses, opening up doors and opportunities for so many other people, which is one of the things that I just admire so much about you. But your story didn't start there. Where did you begin? Where did you begin? This audience doesn't know where you're coming from and where you began. And if you can turn your life around, if you can make a decision to do something different, anybody can. I would love for you to tell us where Johnny really started from.
Well, my earliest memory in life was living in a battered women's shelter. I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, and that's my first memory. I just remember walking up to a refrigerated door and reaching to open the door and, reaching in for a gallon of milk. And I just remember somebody saying no. And that was my way of finding out that I was living in a shelter, and that milk wasn't mine. It belonged to another family in the shelter. So my first memory was being homeless, but not just homeless. I was homeless because of an abusive type situation. And, the reason I tell this story is because, life wants you to believe that, it's like a deck of cards, and whatever hand you get, that's the hand you have to play for the rest of your life. And I'm a testimony. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Where you come from doesn't have to dictate where you're going. I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life. I participated in my environment. I smoked weed at 8 years old and was just, even liquid paper, sniffing gas by the time I was 11 and 12. And I became a victim. I don't say victim because I chose to do it. I don't really like when people blame society for their excuses, because I got a brother named Willie who, if there was a 13th disciple, he'd be the 13th disciple. He's just never been in trouble. We're 11 months apart. He's never been in trouble. So I just believe that, you could be in the midst of fire and never stick your hand out to see if it's hot. You can literally, so I wasn't a victim. I stuck my hand out. I wanted to see if it was hot. I made those decisions. By the time I was 15, selling crack cocaine. By the time I was 17, I had people selling drugs for me. I have my oldest brother who's 2 years older than I am. He's serving 40 years in prison right now. And I'm not saying that, because I'm better than him. I'm saying that because I didn't get caught. There is no difference between myself and my brother who's in prison. The only difference is he got caught. He became the victim. I manned up and I said, listen, I am here because I chose to be here. Now, it wasn't my fault I lived in a battered women's shelter. It wasn't my fault that I was raised in the hood and gangs and violence and drugs, but it was my fault that I chose to participate in things and make less desirable decisions that was putting me on, the wrong track. But, sometimes when your back is against the wall, you have more leverage to kick the door open. And when I say my back was against the wall, my back was against the wall. And I'm telling you guys, I don't care where you come from. It does not have to dictate your future. Your past does not have to ultimately develop who you are today. And that goes for people who come from a silver spoon too. See, most people think I'm only talking about people who come from poverty. I'm not just talking about poverty. I'm talking about those of you who came from a silver spoon who thought you were going to die with a silver spoon. Just because you were born with one doesn't mean you're going to end up with one. So I don't care what your past is. Your past has nothing to do with your future. It's based on your decisions. The title of my book is From the Hood to Doing Good. Hood stands for Hazardous Obstacles of Destruction, H-O-O-D. It's not just for people in the hood. I've got people in, like, senior executives that make it a mandatory read for a person to read my book just to move up, elevate, as an executive or in corporate America. So it's not just for the hood. It's the mindset. The subtitle of my book, Dr. Stacia, is From Adversity to Prosperity Through the Choices You Make. And there's not anybody I know of that wants to be successful that doesn't need to know how to overcome adversities the correct way, strategically overcome them and whip it. I can't cuss because Les told me I couldn't do that anymore. Whip butt. When you get a call from Les from the other side of the world that says, let me hear that you cursed on stage again, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly. I tell them you were obedient tonight.
Yeah, some cultures you can get away with stuff. I got hype. I got too hype on stage one day, but I don't come from greatness, but greatness was within me. Dang it! Somebody text me that. I didn't come from greatness. I didn't come from greatness. I'm claiming that. I'm gonna tell my wife that in just a minute. I did not come from greatness, but greatness came from within me. If you take credit for that, you better put my name on it.
I'll give you credit the first 2 times, Johnny.
Oh,
the
man.
First 2 times. Woo,
I am under the
tonight.
anointing of Les Brown. I'm flowing.
There you are. And that you are. I tell you, and time is going. I am so excited, Johnny, that our Monday night family could get an opportunity to just get to know you briefly. Just to know the power in the family that we have.
It's been about 10 years.
It is. It's been over a decade.
That's so embarrassing. But you're right. It's been over 10 years.
But you're here now.
Let me tell you this. Let me say this, because I want to promote my daddy. If you're on this call, I wouldn't call it a coincidence. This is your Monday night. It's my Monday night, depending on what part of the world you are. Maybe it's your Tuesday morning. I don't know what part of the world you're in. I don't know when you're listening to me. But the exact same amount of time that you had to put to be on this call, I did too. And my time is valuable. And so is yours. So you didn't get here by coincidence. There's a reason that you happen to be on the call that I happen to be on. Because I know I'm talking to you. Now what's going to happen is when you get off the call, 90% of you will begin to negotiate with your destiny. And you can feel it right now. It's easy to feel it when I'm talking to you. But what happens when you hang up? What happened when I got in the car after Les said, I'll put you on stage? There was one side of me that says, Johnny, disappear. You should be ashamed of yourself. You are not worthy to walk on that man's stage. He doesn't know your story. Who do you think you are to think that you can walk on the stage with Les Brown? You're broke. You come from nothing. Don't you ever walk in his presence again. That's one side. The other side of me is still looking in his eyes when he said, I'll put you on stage tonight. See, when you hang up this call, the thing that's inside you, that thing inside you will begin to negotiate why you shouldn't get back in touch with Les. Just like I started negotiating with myself of why I should have got my car and never made another call. Don't negotiate with your destiny. The worst thing that can happen to you is you get embarrassed. Who cares? They're going to talk about you anyway. They might as well talk about you on your way up. And I'm telling you that Les Brown, he is not only a good soil to plant your roots in, his heart and his passion, his purpose and reason is so much greater than he is. And he knows that he has to leave that legacy. So I'm saying this. If you are negotiating with your destiny, that's exactly what you deserve, a negotiation. I wasn't negotiating. It had to happen. There was no negotiating. So I don't negotiate to wake up. I wake up. There is no negotiation. You don't negotiate to pay your taxes. You just pay them. There's no negotiation. Like, stop negotiating with your destiny, because your destiny is saying, listen, man, I won't let you down. I'm here. I'm waiting on you. Let's go. I can go deeper than that, but everybody on the phone will be crying.
Yeah. Well, I warned them, Johnny. I told them this was not going to be an ordinary call. This was not going to be an ordinary night. And I know there's so much more that you can impart. And I would love for you, Johnny, to share how those that are on the call can continue the conversation, can learn more about the great work that you're doing. In addition to being a part of this family and connecting with Les, I want them to know how they can reach you.
I'm going to make it very simple. Go to CoachJohnny.com, CoachJohnny.com. Don't get creative with the spelling. It's exactly what it is. Johnny Carson, Johnny Depp, Johnny Gill, whoever your favorite Johnny is Johnny. Please don't get creative. It's CoachJohnny.com. I'm telling the truth because people get creative. CoachJohnny.com. You go to CoachJohnny.com, there's still something that's left up right now that was for the Steve Harvey viewers. I will make that available to you. It's a free 31-day increase coaching program for 31 days, 31 messages, 31 challenges to create an all-out massive increase in your life. And what's crazy is every single video that I send you for 31 days is less than 20 seconds. And you may say, Johnny, what can I get out of 20 seconds? You have no idea who I am. You have. Listen to me. Major things can happen in minor moments. Stop looking for the clouds to open. Stop looking for an incredible epiphany, the sun shining out of the sky through the clouds right on your forehead for you to say, oh, that was God. Stop looking for that.
I love that. Major things. Major things can happen.
And minor moments. I'm telling you.
Love it. Love it.
Give me 20 seconds of your life for 31 days. And all I'm saying is, during the 31 days, you may start saying, this is way too simple. I promise you, if you participate in 31 days, you'll be an incredibly enhanced person. Not necessarily a different person, but you'll be enhanced towards your destiny. You can walk towards your destiny, you can crawl, or you can run, or you can strategically connect yourself with things that are complementing where you want to go. I'm just saying, I'm going to strategically connect you with the thinking that complements where you want to go. I'm going to strategically connect you with the thinking that complements where you want to go for 31 days, 31 messages, 31 videos in less than 20 seconds. Go to CoachJohnny.com, fill out the form, and you will immediately get the first video. I ain't asking for no credit card information. I ain't asking for your mama's name, your social security number. I'm giving it to you. You may say, Johnny, well, what does he want from me? Why would he do that? Why do you care? It's free. You don't have stop investigating stuff that has nothing to do with where you're going. Investigate the fact that I'm offering it to you for free. Just go take that. And I'll say this, Dr. Stacey, it has been an incredible honor and pleasure to watch you from a distance. And I'm so honored to know that you have been watching me from a distance. And, man, I don't know where I would be right now if Les didn't pull me out of that picture frame to show me who I was. And Les tells us you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. Mm-hmm. And you think you know who you are? You think you know what your story is? You think you know what makes you tick? Get an expert like Les Brown to pull you out of the picture, to pull you out of that frame, 30 feet away from it, and say, listen, this is who you are. Look at that picture. That's you. You can't see it unless an expert pulls you out and allows you to glance back. That's what Les did for me. Les pulled me out of the frame, and he pulled me far enough back to look and say, man, listen, this is you. You thought you were something else, but this is you. You can't make a change in your life until you can see a reason to change. And he pulled me. Man, I didn't even know I had a story, Stacey. I didn't know. I didn't know that coming from a battered women's shelter was a story. I had no idea. It took an expert to say, Johnny, you got a story. And let me tell you, some of you are listening to me right now and you're saying, that's my problem, Johnny. I don't have a story. I came from a great home. I had great parents. I don't have a youthful story of adversity. Guess what? That's your story. I'd pay to hear that story. I'd pay to hear that story. What is it like to truly have a mother and father, a peaceful home? Please teach me, because that's the father I want to be. Your story that you think you don't have, Les will pull you out of that frame and pull you 30 feet back to look back and say, listen, the story you thought is not where we're going. This story is going to be you. And Les told me what my story was, and that has taken me around the world, millions upon millions of dollars in profits later, that if I don't want to walk out of the house this year another day, I'll still make $1 million this year for what Les taught me to attach myself to my story that I didn't know existed. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. Go to CoachJohnny.com. I appreciate you guys having me. Dr. Stacy, yeah, you are a league in your own. You're just in your own league, girl. I love you. I appreciate you, and I just tip my hat to you. Thank you so much for celebrating me as we celebrate each other. God bless.
God bless. Thank you so much, Johnny. I appreciate you, esteem you, just love you and what you're doing, your beautiful family. Continue this great work. CoachJohnny.com, everyone. I know you have to go. Your time is limited, but do you have about 2 minutes to take a comment or a question? I know the lines are fired up, so we both have a commitment, but I will open up the call briefly. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen,
before you do that,
everybody,
hey, before you do that, all of my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that is at Wimbrey. You can find it at CoachJohnny.com. But please, you know how you think that certain people don't look at what people are posting? I'm so addicted. I need counseling. I love seeing what people are writing about me on social media. Even if it's not good, I love it. So tell them I need a new haircut. I don't care. Just say something. Go to my social media and say something. Thank you. I love you, and I will definitely stick around.
Awesome. Love you, boy. There's nothing you can do about it. Ladies and gentlemen, when I open up the lines one at a time, I can already see the groundswell. Everybody wants to say a comment or have a question, but we literally only have about 3 minutes. So let's have a quick response ready to go. Johnny will answer it before we close down tonight's call. So stand by, everyone.
All callers are unmuted.
Hi there, this is Vanessa.
All callers are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Too much background noise, so you're going to have to press *6 to unmute your line for your question or your comment.
Hi, this is Vanessa from Northern California.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hello?
Welcome. Yes.
Hi, thank
live.
you. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say really quick to Johnny, thank you so much for talking about that we all are in a frame, we're all in a picture of our life, the story of our life, and that our story counts. I've been through a lot of adversity growing up in a dysfunctional family and growing up in a lot of hard trials, being a single parent, et cetera, and I do have a story that can help other people, and so thank you for reminding me that no matter if we grew up in a rich family or a poor family, we all have a story, and that's going to help to push us forward and to keep going and to lead us to our destiny. And I really, I'm going to check out some of your material online, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me ask you, can I ask her a question real quick back?
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm sorry. I heard a beep when you said your name. What is your name?
My name is Vanessa.
Vanessa, what part of Northern California? Vanessa, what part of Northern California are you in?
In the Bay Area. I live in Fremont, so it's the East Bay.
Okay. So do you remember when I said I lived in a battered women's shelter?
Yeah. That's when I tuned in. I just tuned in to the last part of your...
That was in San Jose, California.
No way. Yeah, I'm right next door to San Jose. Wow.
The government sent us from Fort Worth, Texas to protect us, and my mother chose to go to San Jose, California, and I went to Almadena Elementary. So thank you so much for being on this call, and I can tell you that when I was living in the Bay Area, I had no idea who I was. I didn't know who my father was. I was in second grade smoking weed, and I failed the second grade. and I was in that area. So I'm telling you that I connect with you. Thank you so much for being on this call, and thank you for that compliment. And just know that anybody who's listening to me, I don't care about your past. I care about your future. And I thank God that God, his grace and mercy, has that kind of bleeding forgiveness. And I just want everybody to know that. It's not about anything that I have inside me that makes me better than anybody else. It's just me recognizing the fact that I have been forgiven, and more importantly, I forgave myself.
Awesome.
Ice cream.
Hi, this is Doris calling from
San Jose, California, right now.
Dr. Stacy. Hi, this is Doris L. Rivers calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Hi there, Doris. Go ahead with your question, my friend. Great to hear your voice on the call.
I just have a comment. You know, I haven't tuned in a while on Mondays because of my schedule. However, I did miss you on Saturday. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, Coach Johnny, I want to thank you so very much for inspiring me and giving me the inspiration to carry on, because I have put on an empowerment event that I'm hosting here in Philadelphia on Saturday, May 14th. And for so long, I'm thinking, oh, can I do this? Should I do this? But I've been connected with Dr. Stacy for a while, and I listen to Les all the time. But thank you for giving me permission to say my past, say my past, because it's not real pretty, but I do know that someone has to hear it, because I do believe that my past has nothing to do with my future, where I'm going. So I thank you for allowing me to get outside of the frame so I can help someone else.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All the way over to the East Coast. I'll tell you this. The thing that motivates me more than anything else in terms of being success-driven, I'm a serial entrepreneur. And the thing that drives me more than anything else is this. If I don't do it, somebody else will.
You said you made some fried hot dogs?
Right.
And listen, ain't nobody better than me. Now, I'm not better than anybody. I'm not better than anybody. But ain't nobody better than me. Ain't nobody more deserving than me. And when you can tell yourself that with confidence, it's not arrogance. Arrogance is when you think you're better than someone else. Confidence is when you understand God didn't make anybody better than you.
Okay, yes.
So if you don't, somebody else still will. That should be.
I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up and stand out. Thank you, Johnny, and I will check you out on CoachJohnny.com.
Thank you.
Awesome. And congratulations, Doris, on your upcoming event. There was a text challenge on our call, but don't worry, you'll get a message from the team. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of the call. We can take one more person. Johnny has to go, and I have another commitment right after this with the Platinum team. So one more caller. Go right ahead, please.
Can I talk, Dr. Stacy?
Barry Abrams from New York.
From New York? Who's that from New York?
This is Barry Frank Abrams from New York.
Oh, Barry
Hey,
Frank
Barry.
Abrams. Great to hear your voice, Barry. Go ahead with your question or comment for Johnny.
It is a pleasure to hear your voice, Dr. Stacy Grant from Queens.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coach Johnny, I want to say and congratulate you on your success and being on the Steve Harvey show. And you just mentioned, I'll be brief, this is more of a, you mentioned entrepreneur. Are you able to give at least one marketing tip that kept you going throughout your journey?
Well, here's the deal.
Johnny, before you answer that, everyone stand by.
All callers are muted.
Okay, now you can answer the call. There was a little bit of background noise. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay. There are no cookie cutter answers in terms of what is your one tip. There's no cookie cutter answer. What I do is I analyze your individual situation. My answer would be constructive based on who you are, what you bring to the table, and where you want to go. If you know anything about Les Brown, that sounds very familiar to you. So I'd have to interview and ask you questions in terms of what you're doing, what your plan is. But I'll make it super simple. Everything you do is marketing. Every word that comes out of your mouth is marketing. So my tip to you is be the message that you bring. Sound familiar? Again, Les Brown. Be a walking, talking billboard that is in alignment with whatever you're bringing to the table. If I'm working with youth to empower youth, everything that I do, everything that I post, everything that I say, the way I dress, the way I carry myself, the way I argue in public has to be in line with who I say I am. So my marketing tip for you on a generic level, because I don't know what you're doing, my marketing tip for you on a generic level is you must be the message that you bring. You have to be a walking, talking billboard of who you say you are. And here's another thing. If you don't know who you are, why? Your ability or inability to articulate who you are successfully will make you or it will cost you millions. Let me repeat that. Your ability or inability to effectively communicate who you are, what you bring to the table, will cost you or it will make you millions. You should practice articulating who you are because you never know who's going to get in the elevator with you. You never know who's going to sit next to you on the airplane. I would not have gone to Hollywood if I wasn't able to articulate who I was within 30 seconds on an airplane in first class on my way to Australia on a connection in Los Angeles. 30 seconds of articulating what my destiny is empowered my career that has taken me all over the world. But it takes learning how to articulate it. That's what Les Brown is a master of. He is a master of teaching you how to articulate who you are and market your purpose. And I'm talking about in a very concise and saying a very few words because as we all know, less is more. Les Brown will bring you more if you join us.
Absolutely. Well, Johnny, thank you so much again, my brother, for the time that you have spent. This has gone beyond what I asked you, and you've been so gracious in accommodating this time that we have shared, what the listeners have listened to. Ladies and gentlemen, CoachJohnny.com. He is beyond one of the most incredible individuals by the way he lives his life with integrity, passion, and authenticity. He is not talking about it. He is living it. He knows where he's come from, and he's very clear about his assignment. As you've heard him say, 30 seconds or less, he knows his destiny. So I want to publicly congratulate you again, to tell you how much we are proud of you, the Les Brown Enterprise family, how much I personally admire and celebrate who you are as a person, my brother, and wish you continued blessings and success, not only on your business, with your family, but all that you touch. And your time tonight was priceless. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time in being here, and I invite you to visit lesbrown.com so you can connect with the team if you're interested in taking that next step, coming to the training May 27th and 28th to work directly with Mr. Brown, members of the First Family of Motivation and the Platinum Speakers, and staying connected on social media. And if you want to send me a direct message, you can do that at DestinyDesignersUniversity.com. That's Destiny Designers, spell it all out, DSIGNERS, University.com, DestinyDesignersUniversity.com, and I'll be sure to be in touch with you. Those that didn't get a chance to ask your question or give a comment, share that on social media at Wimbrey.com. Is it at Wimbrey on social media, Johnny?
At CoachJohnny.com, you'll be able to click all my social media from there. CoachJohnny.com on the top right-hand corner. All my make it simple. All my social media is at the top of CoachJohnny.com.
That's the best way to do it. And my social media as well is on DestinyDesignersUniversity.com. See, we get smarter as we grow in this business. Make it nice and easy for you to connect with us. But thank you. I am so excited. I think I'm going to go run a couple of laps on the treadmill. Johnny has fired me up again. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, it don't take much for me to run a lap or two. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you so much. God bless.
God bless. And Les Brown sends his love and regard to each and every one of you for being a part of this motivational Monday night family. Make it a great day and an even more awesome life, everyone. Bye-bye.